Yo, we are live. We back. What's up, homie?
What up? What up?
What it do out there, man? What's the vibes in Philly?
Well, it's getting warmer. You know what I'm saying? So, we happy about that, man. Warm weather. We always enjoy that up here, man. So I'm just like, it's cool. You seeing more people out, you know what I'm saying, and everything, man. So I'm just like, man, good, good way, for to get to the summer, you know what I'm saying, and all that, man. A lot of new music drops. So I was like, there's a lot to listen to. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I didn't even know they dropped the joint. Yeah, they dropped the joint.
Absolutely. You guys, Philadelphia 76ers, you guys in the first place right now, going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Y'all maxing. The Nets ain't looking good out there. So, I mean, man, there's a lot. That's a lot to be happy for right now.
I mean, man, we happy with it. I was like, you seen the picture, Joel Embiid had the big chain on. Yeah, for real, that's first place energy right there. You know what I'm saying? But we still got work to do, man. You know what I'm saying? And this time it ain't no resting, ain't nothing like that. Everybody got to play every game, and with it, we'll see where the chips fall. I want to see the Nets at 100%, because I don't want no excuses. You know what I'm saying? When we meet up with them, you know what I'm saying? I want to see all the guys there. And we go head up and let's see what happens.
Absolutely. We're going to get into all of that tonight, man. We're going to talk about all of that. Get ready for it. Before we get into it, let's go ahead and give a shout out to everybody who's rocking with us.
Yeah.
What's up, Nick? Nick out there, Nicole. What's up? What it do? Lullas. Shout out to Blackjack TV. Shout out to YouTube. Shout out to Facebook. Shout out to everyone who rocks with us. Our on the front line partners, our behind the scene partners. Shout out to the guys. Shout out to Merv, Stacks, Tina. Shout out to Becca. Shout out to Tayson. Shout out to Nick J. Shout out to everyone who's rocking with us. Shout out to the Lullas. And definitely shout out to my partner in crime tonight, Marc J. Let's go ahead and get with the shits, man. Let's start off, man. Let's talk about some NBA Hall of Fame, man.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to watch any of that this weekend?
I got to see Kobe Bryant's wife. That Michael Jordan presented him. Vanessa gave a speech. Was great, man. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of what she said, and Kobe. One thing, people, like, yeah, he was a maniac, but I thought it was in a good way. Like, he explained something to his wife that she explained to us, and he's like, yo, why do you play every game? And he was just like, yo. He like, it's people who saved up all their money, you know what I'm saying, to see me play. And how can I not play? Like, I'm just like, man, if you're a fan of Kobe Bryant, if you're a fan of the game, period, you should relish that, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that guy was trying to do anything to play and just wanted to make sure the fans, whether you weren't a fan of his, but, you might just enjoy the game, for him to be able to see him. So that's love right there, man. You can't love the game no more than that.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things, like, it's I think it was an easy thing to say Kobe is a Hall of Famer. I mean, we knew that probably halfway through his career that this guy was destined to be great, destined for the Hall of Fame. To your point, the fact that Mike MJ was able to tee that up, and then for his wife to be that strong, man, that's tough. I mean, honest, I couldn't watch it because I didn't want to see that portion of it, because that is still tough. Because I'm still thinking about him and his daughter.
So
it's tough to shake off, man.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, man. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the whole Hall of Fame class. Tim Duncan is in there, 5-time champion. Kevin Garnett, you know what I'm saying? Also, a champion, played probably his best years, with the Wolves. But that rivalry between KG and Tim Duncan on the court, I'm glad that we got to see it in its entirety. You know what I'm saying? That really, really was good. They had some really great battles, amongst big men. They're two different big men, but you know what I'm saying? They had some great battles, man. So I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Seeing those guys, you know what I'm saying, get to the Hall of Fame, man. And, I was with it, man. I think this was a great Hall of Fame class. I appreciate the whole thing, and being able to check those people out.
Absolutely. I want to give a shout out to Mike Wilbon.
Yeah,
Wilbon was able to get into the Hall of Fame, man. I thought that was a good look as well, man.
deserve it, and he well deserved, well
Absolutely.
deserved.
Mark, didn't he start with Chicago, like the Chicago beat
Yeah,
writer?
he started
Yeah.
with the Chicago paper, man. But Wilbon, you know what I like about Mike Wilbon? He wasn't a guy who had to yell and scream and you go over the top, with opinions and things like that. He stayed right in his lane, was able to give his take on it, and able to do what he do. I think some people just think media is just yelling and screaming, and oh yeah, I'm gonna just fire up an off the wall opinion, and that's actual journalism or that's actual sports media. Really, it's not. What I'm saying, to be honest with you, I wish that more of the guys on air now would go a little bit away from that, go more to the facts, and just get your point across. You don't have to
Absolutely.
act like act like you're crazy, to be able to do that. Mike Wilbon doesn't do that. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's well respected in this game.
Absolutely. 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 So speaking of games, NBA playoff tourney, man,
Yeah.
started, man, in the playoffs. I don't know how I feel about the play-in tourney, man. How you feel about that? But you being one of the guys who follow basketball deeply, anybody who out there watching, if you're looking for someone that can transition from the high school to the college to the NBA, Marc is your guy. Marc knows the entire pipeline. He understands it. So from your perspective, being an NBA juggernaut, how do you feel about the whole play-in tourney, man?
Man, I'm actually surprised that they did it. They were supposed to do it last year for the bubble, and that's how this really got on deck. I didn't think they would do it this year because they played 72 games. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't think it would go like that, but it did. LeBron's not happy about it, obviously. And I said this earlier, a shorter series always favors, you know what I'm saying, the lesser team. Because it's like, look, I gotta win the best out of three or whatever the case may be, and I'm gonna say like this, man, Golden State is playing the Lakers. I'm just like, man, that might not be an easy matchup for him because if Steph get hot, all he has to do is get hot for 1-2 games and they win. So I would
is
say for the
it
Lakers,
a game or
they
is
have
it
to dictate pace.
How many games is it?
I think it's I want to say it's either 2 or 3, but I'm not. I know it's not more than 3, but I think I want to say 2 or 3. I don't know if it's a one and done situation, but even if it is that, it's even worse for the Lakers because it's just like, yo, like, listen, you got to win a game. Yeah, I mean, just one game. I mean, that's hard. Ask the NFL.
Right,
The
right,
playoffs
right.
in the
Absolutely.
NFL, that's not easy, man. You got to just win that game. You don't win that
Absolutely.
game, you out.
You out.
You know?
Done. Absolutely. Absolutely. So do you think that one of the things that, like, I don't know if Golden State can do anything to stop the Lakers, man. Like, not for one game, not for 2 games. Right now, the Lakers are somewhat healthy. You got KD coming back. I mean, you got AD coming back. Braun is playing back. He's playing well. I think they just got too much, man. It's only Steph.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
like in a normal 7-game series. I mean, this wouldn't even be a question.
Right.
But in a real short series, and this is why they got rid of the 5-game. You remember the 5-game series? You know what I'm saying? Where, all you had to do was steal one on the other team's home court, and then you get to go back home and play. Like, I'm just like, man, this kind of reminds me of that. And I'm like, this isn't easy. I'm like, the Lakers really going to have to come out and really play. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have to come out and play some games, man. So,
right.
I don't expect, LeBron and AD to lose in the first round to anybody, for let alone the Warriors. But I'm like, man, it'd be interesting if Golden State gets hot right at the beginning. I'm like, they could make it interesting. So I'm just like, man, it's tough. You know what I'm saying? When you're playing against a superstar like Steph Curry, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but I still think the Lakers have the size. They have the advantage. You know what I'm saying? So I think they should win, man. And as far as the other play-ins, we'll see what happens, man. That Washington and Boston looks pretty good. I'm like, Boston's without Jaylen Brown. He's out for the season. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, man, Westbrook, Mike could work his magic, and we'll see what happens there. I'm rooting for the Hornets, obviously LaMelo Ball, you know what I'm saying? Where, So I want to see him do his thing, and you know what I mean, Ja Morant. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know what I'm saying. We want to see him do his thing.
Right. It's gonna be interesting, man. Again, I don't know how I feel about the play-in tourney. As I'm nostalgia when it comes down
Yeah,
to sports, you know, especially the NBA.
yeah.
If you're in, you're in. If you're not, you're not. That is how I look at it.
I feel the same way.
That's that.
Yeah.
There's this other extra stuff, this other gaming stuff. I feel like it takes away from the true essence of the NBA, of the association, because
Yeah.
we get too gamey, man. And I get you got to evolve. The game has to evolve. The sport has to evolve. But man, I just don't know how I feel about this. Honestly, I don't
I
know how
don't
I
think
feel.
it's needed. I think last year would have made more sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think this year, whoever really decided, yo, we should go ahead with it. Oh man, that's just a bad
Right.
move. To be honest,
Yeah.
I see them doing away with this. I just don't see it staying around.
I can't see it sustaining, man. I mean,
Yeah.
look, I'm glad the playoffs is about to kick off. This when things get very interesting.
Yeah.
Especially with Steph heating up. Steph is on fire right now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you like this: if Steph can somehow win against the Lakers, against all odds, we're going to be talking about Steph again like we used to a couple of years ago. Because
Yeah.
this is huge. This is major for him. Because Steph never had to. I've always felt that Steph was one of the players that never had the ability to carry that team. You know what I mean? Because you think about it, they try to create the narrative as the Golden State Warriors being a super team. When Steph is by himself, Steph cannot carry your team by himself.
Yeah.
He can't. LeBron can carry your team for the most part. You give him
Mhm.
some pieces, he's going to carry them. You give Steph some pieces, they're going to struggle. He's going to have some nights where he just on Fago, but for the most part, I don't see him carrying a team that long, man. I want to see him beat the Lakers on his own. Him and Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green. I want to see them beat the Lakers. I really do.
Yeah, man. That would be cool to see, man. But basketball is the one sport. If a guy gets hot, you can ride him.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? More than any other
facts.
sport. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? I'm like, man, you get hot in basketball, you can ride that one guy a long way. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So, man, let's go and transition into the world of hip hop, man. You sent me this article, man. I had to go back and take a look at it. I didn't realize what it was until I actually went back and watched the Drink Champs. So, Fat Joe said that DJ Khaled is the Quincy Jones of hip hop, man. That's a bold statement. That's a bold statement, man. What are your thoughts on that?
The only thing
go overboard sometimes.
The only thing that Khaled and Quincy Jones have in common is that they can get multiple artists to do their records. That's it. I mean, I have to really ask what Khaled song, right? And you could think of any of them. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't have any good ones because he did, but what Khaled song, you know what I mean, or songs was so great that you just keep playing them over and over again for years and years and years. I don't think he has one record that, yo, that's the record. That record we gonna play to the end of time. Right. I'm like, Quincy Jones has countless records like that.
Countless.
I don't even think Khaled has one. And that's not to say that he didn't have any good records. I mean, I like the record with Drake for Free. That was my shit.
Yeah.
They play All We Can Do Is Win. They play that, you know what I mean, for real, you know what I mean, but not in abundance, but they still play it. I like the Wild Things record by Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying he has records that I like. But I mean, is there any record that like, yo, man, I have to play this every year? Like, no.
Yeah.
He don't have no records like that. No, he don't have them. Now he had every artist. He's had every artist on his records. I mean, from the Drakes to the Jay-Z's, Nas, you know what I'm saying? Rihanna, Nipsey Hussle. I mean, he's had everybody on his records. But he don't have no, yo, man, that's a classic record that I can play to the end of time. He don't have no record like that.
Right. He doesn't. Even this last album that he came out with, the Khaled album, you and I talked about this before. Yeah. That album is really just like almost like a remix album, right?
Yeah.
He took classic, I won't say classic beats, but he took catchy beats and put other people on those beats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all. Every song on that album, it wasn't original music. And Taysom mentioned on here, he said Khaled doesn't have a Thriller album. You're right, Taysom. I don't think he's built to have a Thriller type of album. And even to Nicole's point, Quincy is a composer. He's a composer. That's Nick. That's powerful. He's a composer. We know Fat Joe likes to get crazy sometimes. He over exaggerates things a little bit. He makes things bloated than what it is. I got where he was coming from because he was trying to make it seem as if Khaled doesn't get enough respect for bringing artists together. I don't think that's it. I think the guy is phenomenal when it comes down to having relationships. He builds great relationships. He builds great rapport with artists.
Yeah.
And he has, anytime you can get Beyonce and Jay and Nas on one song, you got great connections, right? You got that it factor where you're around a circle of people where you just ask and they will deliver you a song, right? And he can go to anybody in the industry, from Drake to anybody, and he can get an album, he can get a song.
Yeah.
My thing is this, like Nick mentioned, Quincy was a composer. You know what I mean? This is Q Jones we were talking about, right? And like Abe said, he can't put together a Secret Garden. There's no way in the world he's not putting together a Secret Garden, man. So that's not going to happen. That's not Khaled. Khaled will put together a good remix, and he will put together a sample song from the 2000s when it was really popping, and put other artists like a Justin Bieber on it, and he'll sell it to the masses, and we'll eat it up, right? That's Khaled. Not taking anything away from him, but to put him on the same playing field as a Quincy Jones, no way, no how.
Yeah, he just not there. I think he's good at what he does, but I'm just like, he's not a guy where Khaled's calling, I have this great record for you. No, he has a record for you, and then you do it, and then he promotes it. You know what I mean? And you promote it, and then it ends up being a hit song for that summer or spring or whatever.
Right.
That's what it is. It's not like he has this amazing beat making type of thing going on, or this amazing arrangement for a song.
Right.
And this song is going to just change the game.
Right.
He's just not capable of making a record like that. That's no disrespect, because a lot of people aren't. You know what I mean? A lot of people aren't. Everybody can't be Quincy Jones. Trust me. If there was enough Quincy Jones around here, we would have a lot of better records than we do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No disrespect, but he just ain't in that stratosphere. Right. He ain't in the ballpark. He's like way down the street somewhere. I'm like, before the Lakers and the Clippers played in the same arena, right? He was at the Clippers arena. You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, you're in the pros, but you're just not there. You're like,
you're not.
I don't know what else to say. Like,
but again, Mark, it goes Fat Joe, phenomenal legend, but Joe likes to exaggerate sometimes. But he dead ass. He's not saying these things just to be saying it. He believes what he's saying. I mean, he told Nori that Khaled is the hip hop version of Q Jones. He didn't misspoke. He was dead ass. He was like, "Yo, I really believe that," because I think he's speaking from a position of the creation of artists and material. Because think about it, there's not many producers that can actually do what Khaled has done by bringing a lot of artists. The hottest artists you can think of, he can bring them on one album. He has that kind of connection. But if I'm going back in the day when Khaled was actually producing, I thought back then he was a better producer then than he is now. When he was called Beat Novocaine, I don't know that he was Novocaine before he became Khaled, right? Because he was producing a lot of Fat Joe's early music, like Jose, Jealous One, Still Envy, Joe. I mean, he was the in-house producer as Beat Novocaine, and he was killing it. But to compare him to a legend like Q Jones, that's not good. That's not good. So I get where Joe's coming from. Just a bad example, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna go to Philly, man. I want to go to Philly. Let's talk about MMG, man. Meek Mill and Ross, man. That I don't like this. Man. Taysom, if you out there, man, what y'all doing, man? What Meek is doing out here?
I'm not a fan of this, right? I'm like, listen, you signed a contract. I'm like, yo, I'm I know it's instances where in some instances you don't honor your contract, but this how the beef started, right? Meek Mill wants off the label because Meek Mill feels he's a big enough star to do his own thing, which I do agree. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he's under the wing of Jay-Z. He's trying to move in that type of lane, and he got to get it. He wants off MMG so he can move the way he wants to move. I get that. You know what I'm saying? But if you still got albums left on your deal, right? And I mean, before it was no problem. It was MMG and Ross, that's the boss and all of that, and y'all was good. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, oh, I want off the label. You should just let me off, and I still got, but you still, ain't hold up your end of the deal. That's problematic. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, but that should have been handled. But for me to be like, yo, don't let them into my section at the club. I'm like, I'm like, listen, and I would say like this, me, even if T.I. didn't go to jail, right? If T.I. didn't go to jail and you were signed to Grand Hustle instead of MMG, your career would not be where it is right now. It's no way, you could have got them same records on Grand Hustle that you got on MMG. No way. You know what I'm saying? So be grateful for that. I ain't saying that you ain't put in your work. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, you had a label boss, right? That allowed you to do your thing. You know what I'm saying? That helped, for along the way. You know what I'm saying? Put you in touch, with certain things. I'm just saying, as far as that relationship goes, I think Ross deserves better. You know what I'm saying? And y'all are men. You know what I'm saying? You ain't a little kid now, Meek. You ain't running around in North Philly with the nappy braids. You a grown man. Right. You know what I mean? For us, so be a grown man. You know what I'm saying? And talk to Ross and see what y'all can work out. If you got 3 albums left, can I do? What do you think about doing an album and I give you an album and EP? Y'all could work out some kind of contractual thing. You know what I mean? Where it'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? And Ross is a businessman, so obviously he would do business. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But throwing a tantrum, against Rose, I'm just not feeling that right there.
Absolutely. That's the wrong way to handle it, man. Like Tayson said, that should have been handled behind the closed doors.
Absolutely.
You don't expose situations like that because Ross is also connected to a lot of other big wigs in the industry. I mean, you got Diddy, he's still good with Jay. If you don't make things right with Ross, it's going to be hard for you to get in good with another powerhouse, right? Because let's keep it a G. Ross is considered a powerhouse. I mean, Ross came in the game, he did what he had to do, and now Ross is like a powerhouse right now. You know what I mean? So again, there may be more to this story that we are not seeing or we don't know about. I'm sure
it's more. Probably
it's definitely more. It's always more. It could be money. It could be, like, yo, you're not getting behind me like I thought you should, like you thought you would because of the album getting pushed or whatever the case may be. Because Ross not really putting out music like that. I mean, we don't really hear Ross on the circuit that much.
Well, now he's a businessman, so you got other endeavors going on. We want Ross to put out more music,
right?
I'm saying? I understand why he's not. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But I'm just saying, and here's another thing that one of my homies had pointed out to me. He was just like, yo, he did this in Ross City. I'm just like, yo, Meek, if somebody disrespected you in your city, you wouldn't like it one bit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You don't disrespect another man in their city. I mean, unless y'all have full-on beef, I get it. But if it ain't that, you don't disrespect that man in this city like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, you wouldn't like if somebody disrespected you in Philly. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't like that one bit. Imagine you go to a club in Philly, you know what I mean? Somebody tell you where you can and can't go, and you ain't welcome and all of that. That look crazy.
It looks crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, Meek, tighten up, man. Come on, man. I'm tired of telling you that, man. Meek, you gotta tighten up, man.
Yeah.
This I don't know. This ain't that ain't Philly right there.
Nah, he's making some.
You gonna deal with it as a man.
He's making some questionable moves, man.
You can't come to my section and nah. Nah, we ain't doing that. Come on, Meek, tighten up, man.
Not a good look. He's making some questionable moves. Someone is in his ear giving him some bad advice, and it's gonna come back and bite him if he's not careful. So man, let's move on to the Mark 5, man, aka the Mark 5. Let's go into your bag, man. I'm gonna give you the rapid fire. I want you to tell me how you feel about it, and let's keep it moving. So the Kobe unreleased music, man. Did you hear this? Did you know about this before it happened?
I knew something about it. Y'all mean for a shout to my man Kev, aka Sandman. If you from Philly, you should know the name Sandman. The boy's a beast on the mic, right? Him and Kobe, y'all mean was real good friends, right? So I've heard about this, y'all mean this album for a little while, right? But I never heard it. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't want to, you know what I mean, for go to Sand and just, yo, you got that John, let me get that John or whatever, because I ain't know how him and Kobe was moving, you know what I mean, with that. Right? So I ain't want to ask you. I would drop hints though, like, yo, did you hear that? Because I heard something. And then, you know, saying he keep straight face. I don't know what you're talking about, Mark. You know what I mean, it's cool.
Right.
You know, so I'm just like, man, you know, I didn't hear it, but I would like to hear it. But one thing about Kobe, I'll say with rap though, he actually, you know, took it serious, right? You know what I'm saying? I think had he put more time into it, he'd have been better. You know what I mean? He would have kept getting better though. You know what I'm saying? But just everything that happened, you know what I'm saying, along the way with his career kind of push the music to the background, and I understand all of that. But I think Kobe was a determined person. He always wanted to be good at whatever he did. So he ain't want to just put out something and just like, yo, I ain't really that good. I'm cool with it. No, he wanted to be good at it. And I think if he had time to work on it, I think he would end up being, you know, pretty respectable.
Right. Absolutely. So again, back to Fat Joe, man, he gave the catalog to Big Pun's family. I think he's trying to extend that olive branch as much as he can. There's so much bad blood there, though, man. But this was a notable thing. I think this is an honorable thing that he's done for Pun and his family. He didn't have to do this. He did not have to do this at all. This is major, in my opinion. But they're still shitting on his name because you know they got so much bad blood, man.
I'm gonna say like this. It's commendable that he did this. I would have liked to have seen Joe do this earlier. I would like to have seen him do it earlier. You know what I'm saying? And Joe's probably in a pretty good financial position to be able to make this move. So sometimes, you know, I like from his aspect, he might have couldn't do it back then. I think, you know, financially, but I think morally, it was probably the right thing to do. I think he could have done it sooner. And I can't speak on the financial part of it because I don't know, but I wish he would have had done this a little bit sooner. So, you know what I'm saying? But I'm glad that it happened. And you know, this beef might not go away for a while, but you know what I'm saying? Crazy things happen sometimes, and beefs that you didn't never think would get squashed sometimes do get squashed. We just have to wait and see what happens.
And that's the thing, like he mentioned, they're trying to do a Pun documentary or a bio and a biopic, but they may not do it because he has to also sign off on some of those things as well. He has to be a part of it. And they can't do a Pun, you know, movie without Fat Joe.
There's no way you could do anything.
There's no way.
Like that.
There's no way. And they're at odds because, you know, his wife, Pun's wife, was saying that, you know, Fat Joe stole money from them and, you know, he owed this, he owed that, he never did anything. So it's just a nasty situation. I don't think he was in a position to give back anything at that time because it was so nasty in the beginning. And he's still trying to make amends in some kind of way. And all thing he told her, like he was on the Drink Champs, he said all he want for her to do is just say, look, I lied about this. Joe always took care of us. That's all he really wants out of all of this. It's not going to happen, Joe. Like it's too much at stake.
I mean, sometimes the story just has to be set straight. You see, like when people would come up with Diddy about Black Rob family stepped up. Like that was never the case. He was always good to Rob. and made sure Rob was all right. So,
it's all right. Yeah.
you know, sometimes the record has to be set straight because I know once the rumors and all these accusations start flying, you know, people take them like as facts, but sometimes it ain't facts. So hopefully it's some type of closure to this, and I think if it is closure, I think everything could be okay and it could be peace. You know what I'm saying? So you want to see the same from this situation.
Absolutely. So your boy, man, J. Cole had a basketball debut, man.
Yeah.
What do you think, man? 3-2. I mean, I saw the putback. I was like,
you know, I'm gonna say like this, right? You know, and I tell people all this all the time. I'm just like, listen, J. Cole is a rapper who was a basketball player many moons ago. I mean, he walked on in St. John's, so yeah, I mean, he can actually play. You know what I'm saying? And this is St. John's back when the Big East was the Big East.
Right.
He was on those teams, on a couple of those teams. I'm like, yo, he's playing professional. I'm like, you think, yeah, I'm saying other professionals are going to be like, yo, we going to let the rapper guy, you know what I mean, just take us out of here. It don't matter what pro league it is.
Right.
We not letting the rapper guy get off on us. Right. You know what I'm saying? They're pros, man. You know what I'm saying? They actually paid him to play this game. You know what I mean? You know, and also it's Cole's first game. It isn't like he's been playing for months. It's his first game. He's probably haven't played in an organized setting in years.
Right.
And all he did was them workouts. So I was like, man, you know, Cole said he's on for 6 games. You know what? If I see this stat line in game 4 and game 5, I would be like, oh man, well, Cole really ain't measuring up to these guys. But for the first game, I ain't gonna kill him for that.
Okay.
You know.
Right. So going back up to the association, man, your boy Kyrie. So not focused on the NBA, man.
Nope.
How you feel about that?
You know what? I'm gonna say like this. I think Kyrie is a guy who can compartmentalize very well. You know, every time when they be like, you get a soundbite from Kyrie, I'm not thinking about the league. You don't taking some games, some days off or whatever. But when he on the court, he seems to know how to play very, very well. You know, you get 30 points, you get 8, 9 assists, you know what I mean, a few rebounds. I'm just like, man, people think that Kyrie should be focused on basketball all the time. And I'm saying when you're as good as he is, you might not have to be just locked in every second of the day about basketball when it's other things, you know what I mean, that are on your mind. He clearly can play regardless of what's on his mind. Show me the games where he was thinking about what was going on with the Palestine and Israel situation, where, you know, what was going on with the George Floyd situation, you know what I'm saying, before that came to a conclusion. Show me the games where he played, had that on his mind, and they played well. He plays well no matter when he's on the court. I'm like, man, you know, basketball is his job. It ain't his life. And people be thinking, you know what I'm saying, you know, like, oh, yeah, well, it has to be his life. No, it don't. You know what I'm saying? When you as good as he is, it don't have to be his life. Now, some other guys who ain't as good, yeah, they might have to focus on basketball a lot more because they still trying to, you know, get paid, stay in the league and all that. But Kyrie is so good at this basketball thing. He can actually focus on other things and still kill you on the court whenever he feels like it. So why are people, you know, making a big deal out of it? And as far as him taking days off, guess what? I hope he takes more days off. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the regular season shouldn't mean that much. Take as many days off as you want. It's a job. It ain't his life. It's a job. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, and then you know what? The last thing I'm gonna say on that, whoever bashing Kyrie, let's see how you perform at your job. You know what I mean? Are you dropping 30 at your job? Are you getting triple doubles at your job? Because the answer is no. You know what I'm saying? You should shut the hell up.
Stacks. What it do, man?
What up,
I felt the need to hop in during this topic because I wholeheartedly agree with you, Mark. I hope that there's something extremely important for Kyrie going on. If the Nets and the Lakers play in this game 7, he might be focused on what's going on overseas, rather than, you know, trying to close out the NBA Finals. So big ups to Kyrie, man. Hey, basketball ain't everything, fam. If you can hear me, Kyrie, take the whole playoffs off. Why don't you? I mean, there's more important stuff going on out there, man. I think you should. I think he should just. I think he should just go ahead and. I mean, if it's real, if it's really real, Kyrie, just take the whole thing off, man. I give him mad respect for that, man.
Well, I don't know about no Nets Lakers. You know what I mean, bro? I know about the Sixers Lakers. That sounds a little bit more accurate. I mean, we are in first place, are we not? Okay. All right.
The Clippers might have something to say, so I don't
know. Done actively avoided us.
Yeah. All right. Next topic.
So I want to round out the Fast Five and actually, I'm sorry, I keep saying Fast Five. The Mark 5, no copyright.
Yeah, Mark 5. Yeah, we ain't going to see that franchise when it opens.
We don't want no problems with that. So I want to round it out with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that happened over the weekend. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was able to acknowledge some of our greats out there, some of our legends out there. I was really glad to see, the Black Godfather, Clarence Avant, being able to get his flowers. I thought that this was a good nod to this guy. Anyone who knows Clarence Avant, he's considered to be the Black Godfather. I mean, he's actually the Black Godfather, not considered, but he is the Black Godfather. So I'm glad that he was able to actually to get his flowers here with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. With him being an American music executive and entrepreneur, man, I don't think he get a chance to really. I don't think he really get the nod that he should get, even from like a BET. I don't think that they do that justice by Clarence Avant. So I'm glad that he was able to get in there. Even our guy, man, Gil Scott Heron. Oh man, the legend. He was able to get his flowers, man. So I was very happy, man, to see that. I was happy to see that. We're recognizing, anyone like this, especially for early influence, man. That's a good category because again, I don't think that Gil Scott Heron was able to get his flowers. We're starting to hear more about Gil Scott Heron, but the fact that he got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that was love right there. And also we got the Yardie boy, Jay was able to get in for performance. He got in as a performer, and I think again, y'all know how I feel about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I feel like it still should not really be for us in a way, but the fact that they're acknowledging a hip hop act like Jay, I thought that was very special. For them to give Jay his flowers, because let's keep it honest, man. Jay's a hell of a performer, hell of an artist. He's one of the GOATs. There are many GOATs, and he's one of them. So let's keep it a buck. And I'm glad that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was able to show that love and appreciation to Hov. All right. And also to the legend, Tina Turner, man. Let's give Tina Turner her flowers, man. Tina Turner, Tina Turner, what, 105, something like that? I mean, let's give her flowers, man. Now I'm kidding, man.
Her legs is 20 though.
Tina Turner got
legs. He still be going to see Tina.
Still going to see Tina, man. So the fact that she was able to get her flowers too, man. I know she always been getting them from day one, but I'm glad to see her. I think this is her second or third entry into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, just for a different category. So I'm glad to see her get there. And man, Queens get the money. LL finally got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This
I think he should have already been in there first.
I don't think LL get enough credit. Nah. LL was the first rapper to call himself the GOAT. When he had the GOAT album that came out in 2000, the GOAT album. He's the first that mentioned the GOAT. Shout out to Bimmy. Bimmy should be getting paid right now for the GOAT praise, man. All because him and L was like, yo, greatest of all time, GOAT. And in my opinion, L is one of the GOATs. There's different levels to this. Man. L captures a different level that I don't think he get a chance to really get his flowers. That's why he won't do a verses, because he don't want his worthy of a verses. He kind of shrugs it off when people talk about it.
And Shawn, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention what LL means to hip hop culture in general. You got a lot of rappers that just rap, but when you think about hip hop and rap back to its infancy, LL is one of those guys that you're going to think of that's been doing it on a consistent basis for the past 3 decades. So yeah, well deserved.
LL was able to transition, man. You got to think about from the mid 80s to the 90s to the 2000s, 2010s. I mean, L transcended, man, and I don't think that we show L enough credit and respect for his talent. Man, for the guy's a legend, man. L is one of the legends. You look at LL's hip hop family tree, and you see the fruit that came from his tree. There's a lot of artists that owe L a check, straight up and down. Hollis Queens own, man. Queens get the money, man. LL gold, and I'm glad that he was able to finally get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. All right. So, Mark, before we move on to the main topic, man, I do got a couple of quick hits. We got the fight that's coming up, man, in August. We got the fight with your boy Wilder and Joshua. I also saw an update. I think an update earlier. Yeah. So, do you know anything about that update? I know Tayson posted it earlier.
They're saying that Wilder is a mandatory challenger, for Fury, and the Fury Joshua fight is in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Because
I didn't know that.
You know what I mean? For that fight's in jeopardy or whatever. And I'm gonna say like this: like, if this goes left and Wilder actually beats Fury, I don't know what happens. You know what I'm saying? After that. But the fact that the fights the Fury Joshua fight is getting pushed off.
Yeah.
That's a little crazy too. Like, man, if you playing the fight on August 14th, the money's in place and everything, the contracts are signed, but the arbitrator is like, nah, and Fury, I think he was supposed to fight Wilder a third time. That was actually in the contract. This is why it's being held up. Like, it's not like, they making it up. So
right.
I'm like, man, this isn't good. It's not good for Joshua at all. He's like the real loser in this whole thing because he don't want to fight nobody.
I will say this. I don't know if you guys see it. Marc probably seen it. There's some video that surfaces out there that's floating around social media where Wilder is actually out there learning the sweet art. He's learning how to box. He looked pretty good doing it. And I mean, big ups to the brother. I mean, I know you're humbled. The way he got humbled in that fight when he came out there like he was the fucking Road Warriors with the fucking shoulder pads and shit on and try to blame it on that.
Yeah.
I mean, he was humble. You ain't heard shit from him after that, but I think the video just surfaced, but I can imagine that he probably was doing that for a while behind the scenes. But I'm glad he's out there learning the art, because he was just known as a guy that's gonna catch you eventually with one of them heavy shots. Yeah. But big ups to the brother for learning his craft. Kind of like remember when Apollo Creed taught Rocky how to box after he whooped Apollo Creed's ass, how he trained him to beat Mr. T.
Right.
That's how he did. Same type shit.
Right.
Yeah, man. Real good trainer, man. I was like, we gotta see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I really wanted to see Joshua and Fury. I think Joshua would have been I think he's a better matchup for Fury, because Joshua needs to be pushed. He needs to know that there's a threat in the ring to get the best out of him. If he feels it's not a threat, he's not going to give it his all. And that's his flaw. That's his own problem. Yeah. But if he feels that there's a threat, he's a very good tactician. He's a very good boxer in the ring. I think that Wilder leans too much on his power. And he's a slugger. So he swings. He swings. And he would get outboxed by Fury again, man. I'll be honest. I can't see him beating Fury. I think that the first fight that they had, he should have lost that fight. In the second fight, he got demolished. Like Stack said, he came out class.
I'm gonna say like this. I think Wilder should have won the first fight because I thought the count was slow. I thought that Fury outboxed him the whole fight. I just thought that count started late. You know what I'm saying? If it's a 10 count, 10 count doesn't mean 12, it means 10. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I gave Wilder in the first fight. The second fight, he got beat senseless. You know what I'm saying? We all
he got his ass.
You know what I mean? Seriously. But like Tayson was saying, you know what I'm saying? Wilder could be offered, you know what I mean, for some real big step aside money to let this fight go through.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Like that's one thing that we have to keep getting the update, and we're probably not going to have anything clear probably until like sometime end of June, early July. Probably not going to have a clear thing of what's happening until then.
Right. Absolutely. So Mark, there's one more thing I want you to get into, man, real quick.
Okay.
All right. And that's I know you want to salute these two brothers, man.
Yes. It's about damn time. You know what I'm saying? Because these guys really were brothers. I'm talking Chris Webber and Jalen Rose, and they had a falling out. You know what I'm saying? That lasted for so many years, and I felt bad about it because I'm just like, man, I always would use this example. You know what I mean? For it to my young bulls to say, yo, this falling out that they have, you know what I mean, and went on for like forever, and I don't know if it ever ends. Right. And to see them bury the hatchet, I'm just like, man, you know what I'm saying? I was so proud of these men that they were able to get past whatever they had to get past, man, because I'm like, you know that they both love each other, they both care about each other. You know what I mean? For they were friends and family, since they were kids. You know what I'm saying? And a misunderstanding, you know what I mean? Especially the misunderstanding that they had, I don't think it should have caused this type of rift that it did. You know what I'm saying? And you want to see all those guys together because we love the Fab Five. You know what I'm saying? We love watching them play, you know what I'm saying? Everything like that. And then we went on to see them in their professional careers. And you know what I'm saying? I'm glad that this happened. Shout out to Juwan Howard, you know what I'm saying, for behind the scenes, helping this transition or whatever. Juwan Howard's now the coach at Michigan. Yep. And I want to see all five of them back on those side on their sideline behind the bench, with watching Juwan coach that Michigan team. I would like to see all of them there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I'm proud of them, man. You know what I mean? For being men. Always being men and bear the action.
And Mark, to your point, I think people tend to forget what the Fab Five did for they changed a lot of things in the sport of college basketball.
Yes, they did.
They started folks with wearing the long baggy shorts. They used to play the shorts and the black socks. Like they made it cool, to try to look cool on the court, and they played well while doing it. So I can't wait to get them two in an interview, get all of them in a room just to tell the stories, man. That's what I'm glad, and I think that was the last piece that needed to get rectified, and now those guys can get together and they can make some money off of that shit as well. Because everybody want to hear all that behind the scenes shit that went on with the Fab Five. I know I can't wait to hear.
Yeah,
definitely. Because if you was into basketball back then, like me, I was 14 or 15, baggy shorts. I mean, everyone had the Michigan Wolverine colors. You know what I mean? Everyone was rocking everything that these guys want. I told somebody before in the conference, they were talking about basketball. I was like, that's the only team that I think the coach messed them up by them not winning the national championship. They had the most talented five on the court any given night, no matter who you were. But the coach got outcoached. They got outcoached. And this is during the time where you had some juggernaut teams, but they weren't Fab Five juggernaut because that whole lineup was a monster. And they just
when they were on, they were really good. When they were
really
on.
good.
You know what I'm saying?
They were freestyling, Mark. They were freestyling.
And I mean, you look at it, they lost 2 national title games, but they lost to Coach K and Dean Smith. I mean, that's 2 of the best coaches ever.
But Dean Smith,
so no disrespect, you know what I mean, for it to Steve Fisher, the Michigan coach. But he ain't Coach K, he ain't Dean Smith.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Coach K. Yo, Killer Flex. Who doesn't remember that time? I remember watching that game live. And when I was like, is he calling a timeout? I was like, no.
But the thing is, he traveled first.
Yeah, he traveled.
He did.
He traveled first.
Yeah.
And you
remember North Carolina sideline jumping up and down when he traveled because everybody's seen it. He slid that was that right foot? He slid it like, whoa, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I thought he was doing the electric slide. That's how long that slide.
Right. and you can see his teammates like, no, don't do it, and he did it anyhow. So yeah, man, that goes down in infamy, man, for the Fab Five, that scene alone. But yo, I'm glad, to Mark's point, I'm glad those brothers were able to patch it up. I saw, you can see one of the interviews, Chris Webber, like, he put the tear up, and they kept, you can tell it was emotional for them. That was a lot of pressure off of their chest, man. I'm glad
they was holding them for so long, man.
So long, man.
You know.
And they ain't brothers. You know what I mean? You can tell both of them got emotional, and they played through it well. But man, that was touching for me. I'm glad to see stuff like that, man. That stuff really touches me, man. So let's go ahead and let's get ready for the main topic for tonight. But before that, one more thing. I got one more round for you. One more round. J. Cole album drop. To me, it's banging album. All right. J. Cole had a monster weekend. Album off the charts. I was vibing to it. You got Killer Cam on the first joint, Mark, like at the gate. You know what I mean? I-95 South. I mean, Cole never disappoints, man. Cole never.
I say this, Cole lyrically, I could put him in any era, and he will do more than hold his own.
Fact.
Any era of rap.
Fact.
Lyrically, yummy. I think he's that good. I've always thought he was that good.
Fact.
And this album, I was just like, some of the songs I'm like, that's okay, but then some of them were really, really good. Fact. I thought it was a good overall album. You know what I'm saying? But I was just like, lyrically, he has it. Like,
he's superior.
He just knows how to put all that together. I'm just like, man, he's serious, man. And I tell people, I'm like, listen, Cole, if I put him on a track with anybody, I don't care who your greats are, Cole, you know what I'm saying, will do well, even against whoever you call your GOAT. He gonna do well. You know what I mean? And maybe, and just maybe, you know what I mean, Cole on his game mind that day, he might get him. Sometimes the greats can get got on the track. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they can be outperformed on the track.
Right.
You know what I mean? Shoot, so give respect, you know what I mean, for it to, when that happens, give respect to that other MC when it happens. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think the album, and Killer Flesh's acts is the album classic.
No.
I don't think it's a classic.
No, not a classic.
Is it great material? Hands down. If we were still using the 5 mic rule from the source, I would give it a 4. I would give it a strong 4 mic. I would not give it a 5 mic classic, but I would give it a strong 4 mic.
Yeah.
And that's very good. Cole is a beast. You put Cole on the record with anyone, Drake, Kendrick, he would eat them up, in my opinion. In
his class, he dusts them off.
In his class, he dusts them off.
He dusts them off.
Put an M on your head, you Luigi brother now. Yo, hey, let me explain something to y'all, man. I was vibing out to this shit when I was on my way to Pennsylvania this weekend, man. And I'm like, it's almost like this dude snapped. Like, okay, I've put out some good albums, but I'm gonna hit this dudes across the head with lyrical content out the ass, switching styles. Like, I'm like, what is he doing? Like, he's going flip mode on him right now.
Different.
And I've only given a couple of listens, but you keep listening to an album, you keep hearing different stuff, and you like, man, this dude, he is a superior MC, and he ain't fucking around, man. He is not fucking around right now.
He would eat Kendrick food easily. He would eat Kendrick food and play around with it.
I wouldn't say all of that now.
Yes,
you know how I feel about K-Dot.
Yes, he would. So, let's get into the main topic, man. Don't get me on that, man. Let's get into the main topic. So Stacks hit me up and like, yo, man, I want to come and I want to moderate the main topic. I asked Marc and Stacks to check out this documentary that came out on Amazon. And I think it's also on AMC. It's the hip hop, it's the songs that shook America. So this title, for anyone listening out there who's watching out there, hip hop, the songs that shook America. So let me put this in more context. It's not about songs that change the guard or anything like that. It's everything under the umbrella. It's everything from songs that shook up the world, songs that were pivotal, songs that were very intricate to the movement of hip hop, and they put it in this documentary, and they was able to break down those songs, not albums, but the actual songs that really shook up America from a perspective of, this is our first time hearing this. This is our first time vibing to this. What does this mean? And what does the context of that music sound like? So Marc and I, as we do almost every week, we like to do our own top 5 of everything. We like to, listen to what others are talking about, the professionals, if you will, and we like to construct our own top 5. So when I told Stacks about this, that's like, yo, man, I need to hop on that so I can moderate, because I want to hear you guys' top 5. The 3 of us, we were kids when hip hop was a baby, right? And we remember hip hop from that time. So we consider ourselves, hip hop guys, right? We know hip hop, we love hip hop. We love it. We grew up in it. We consider ourselves the B-boys, right? So this was important to me. I know it's important to Marc and as well as Stacks. So those of you who are out there watching, those of you that are listening, we want you to comment and tell us how you feel about the selections that we have in our personal top 5 of songs that shook America, or songs that changed the guard of hip hop in general, and also share your own input as to what songs that's important to you that you felt shook up America as well. We want you to put the songs that you feel shook up America as well when they first came out. So with that said, I'm gonna kick it over to you, Stacks.
Yo, real quick before we go down this top 5, watch that show. I haven't finished the whole thing. I've seen the first 2 episodes. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I don't want to give it away. And I'm pretty sure one of these guys may have those songs on their list, as they probably should. But man, it's really good. If you love hip hop, you're going to love that. But kicking things off, we're going to go to Marc first. We're going to go to Marc's 5th song. And that song is going to be The Bigger Picture by Lil Baby. That's his 5th song. We're going from 5 to 1. So Marc, why did you choose The Bigger Picture by Lil Baby?
To me, this song really, I seen the youngins, and I'm talking my youngins, right? And just start thinking instead of, you got to understand, with young guys today, they just do shit, and then it's like, oh man, what did I just do? But they were really thinking. You got to understand, this came out, the whole Black Lives Matter movement was in full swing. You know what I'm saying? You had, the riots. You know what I mean? You had the protests. You had the looting. You had everything going on. But even though, you know what I mean, I had young boys who was out there wilding and everything like that, they never lost sight of what this was about. And they just like, listen, we understand what this is about. And it meant something to them. And this song was actually, it's like crazy, because this was like the soundtrack of what this summer was, for last summer was for them, and that meant something to me, because I'm like, now it's just like they singing it, singing things, and they thinking certain different things. It ain't, what I'm saying? It's just like, man, they thinking more than just a block and I'm out here or whatever. Like, what I'm saying? They starting to think on a more worldly level. And I couldn't have been more proud of them. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't have been more proud of them because of that. And that's what this song meant, because this is the song that really got them to kind of think about what's going on in this world, what's my place in it, and what do I need to do. That's what it meant.
Got you. I had never heard of this song, unfortunately, before. I listened to it a little bit, and I heard him talking about, some of the stuff that's going on. I'm pretty sure this is a relatively new song, because they were talking about some of the stuff that's happened within the last year with Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, and stuff like that. Interesting choice. Let's go on to Shawn's 5th song, and it's going to be Queen Latifah's Ladies First. Shawn, why did you pick this song? Good song, too.
Yo, Ladies First was, during this time when this song came out, Ladies First came out, right? This was in the middle of when hip hop was because it was peaking at being that bravado that male dominant bravado, right? And during this time, this one is when hip hop was also kind of trending in that way of it was just only men should be rapping, right? And you didn't have, you had, Roxanne Shantae back then, who was kind of coming on the scene, battle rapping, UTFO dominating those guys. But when Queen Latifah dropped Ladies First, that was a statement. That was letting all the guys in hip hop know, like, look, we are here. Right? We are here and we got something to say. And this to me was one of the first songs that displayed the dominance of a lyrical female who's not showing, her ass or whatever. Because keep in mind, this is still during the time where it wasn't a lot of explicit music, right? It was really true hip hop. It was really just about how can I out brag you on a mic, right? How can I how can I outshine you on a mic? And when she came out, she was dropping knowledge. This was straight knowledge. This was like, yo, we're gonna have remember I think it was the Judah. Remember we had the medallion back then. You had like the tribe of Judah because I had a black and white one. I had the Lion of Judah. I had all of them joys, man, back then. The African medallion. You had the African shirts. So she was coming from an angle of spitting knowledge, but also letting the females know out there, like, look, women, yo, it's our time to stand up. And she had Moni out there, Moni Love out there. She had a flock of women who was coming to her, and they felt more open to be able to feel comfortable with rapping and just really just spitting lyrics and spitting content and not following the steps of their brethren in the hip hop game at that time. So Ladies First was definitely one of the most influential songs during that era for the ladies and for the movement, for them to be able to put in my category as shaking up America during that time.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that this is one of those songs that kind of like, I mean, you already had women rapping back then, but this is kind of put them on a springboard and started like, hey, letting them know, hey, ladies, we got, like you said, we got some shit to say as well. I think that kind of sort of brought some ladies to the forefront saying like, what the hell, she's doing it. We got MC Light out there. We got, Moni Love out there. Maybe shit, I got some shit I want to put out there.
Right.
So I see it.
Look at the cover. Look how she's standing. Look how she's standing on the cover. That's boss, right? I mean, even the clip from the video. Look how she's that's powerful right there, man.
It is.
That's powerful.
It is. Yeah. Let's go on to Marc's fourth song. And the artist on that song is going to be Chief Keef, and the name of that song is I Don't Like. Interesting choice, Marc.
This is the start of drill music. You know what I'm saying? Drill started in Chicago. I know some New York cats want to claim that they had it before then. I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, man, it started in Chicago, but this kind of likens me to the time where when rappers, really started being gangster rap and they had to live, their lyrics. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't say it and not live it. I remember this in the 90s. You know what I mean? So, I'm just like, man, this is what the drill movement is for the youngsters. The only thing that I say is, I'm like, it's very violent music. The only thing that I say is that I wish they would control the energy more, because the drill scene everywhere in the country now. I was just like, man, I ain't even know Philly had a drill scene, but we got one. You know what I mean? Richmond, VA, and different places have a drill scene, and it's just violent music. You know what I mean? And I get it. You know what I'm saying? Guys are angry, angry at the world, and they gotta let it out. But it's just like, I'm like, I liken it to when rap, for real, became, more gangster, more street, and this is their version of it. You know what I'm saying? But I need them to harness that raw energy and take it out the streets and, and go do something with this, because you got something, because obviously people want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? But take that raw energy and try to, do something positive, man. You could put all these people on, and do these shows and get this money. You know what I'm saying? you know, I'm like, man, because I just look how it is in my city. I look how it is in Chicago, and I'm talking just the rap scene. I ain't even talking nothing else. I'm like, these guys are really going after each other, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I got to put them down. Like, I know a few, you know what I mean, guys that in the Philly drill scene, you know what I mean, for that lost their life over this shit. Like, this shit is crazy. So I'm just like, man, I want to see all these drill rappers, wherever they from, take that raw energy, you know what I mean, for it, and make some good music, make some money, you know what I'm saying, for it, and, you know, go out there and perform for your fans, man. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people, you know, who like to hear this. So I'm just saying, but take it out of the other element. You know what I mean? You don't always have to go to the gun and all that because of a misunderstanding. But I mean, guess what though? In the 90s, we had that same misunderstandings where, you know what I mean, for like, yo, these two rappers were shooting at each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? History is repeating itself, but not in a good way. And we gotta, you know what I mean, for like, man, some of the OGs gotta talk to these youngsters like I did the same music years ago. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I was able to change up on all that. So, you know what I mean? Real hopefully, you know, some of the OG rappers reach out to some of these guys and just explain it. And then some of them are getting it, but you want all of them to get it, man, because if they got something good, you know what I mean, that people want, you want to still keep seeing them do it, not read about, oh yeah, this bull got killed. You know what I'm saying? For real, you know, living the lyrics or whatever. So I think, you know what I mean, for real, to me, it was important because I'm just like, I see a parallel between when I was that young and what it's going into now. So that's why it meant something to me.
Okay.
True that. Right. Moving right along. Number 4, we got Furious 5 and Grandmaster Flash, The Message. Shawn,
Yo,
I need
first of
an
all,
A.
this song came out, man, in '82, I think. All right, so I'm gonna keep it a band. I was only 2 years old when this song came out, but what I can remember is when my uncle was telling me about this song when I became of age, like maybe 7 or 8, right? By the time I can understand the importance of this song and understand the lyrics of this song. When the video come on, the first thing you hear is broken glass. Broken glass everywhere. You can hear broken glass. Yo, and they're not moving around too much in this video. They're literally like this snippet from the video. This is pretty much what he's doing. Yeah, you know I mean, he's talking about everything that's going on in the hood because this was during the time. If you guys remember, you guys did the Snowfall recap. If you do your history, this was during the time when the crack epidemic was about to hit hard. And we didn't know, as America, we didn't really know what it was because you just see people strung out. You saw people literally on the block strung out. And, you know, and in the city, they had abandoned buildings where, you know, people who was strung out on drugs were laying up in there. You know what I mean? And this song represented that. He was talking about everything that he was seeing in the city. They were all talking in every verse. I think it was like 4 verses. They were talking about everything they were seeing. They were talking about undercover. They were talking about everything during this era. They were talking about how HIV was coming. Now keep in mind, fellas, this song came out in '82. The crack epidemic didn't really get big until around 85, 86-ish. This was in the beginning. It was in the infant stage of what was going on with the crack epidemic, the opioids epidemic, you know, HIV. I mean, AIDS were like really full blown. It was getting weird because you had just came out the Studio 54 era, right? You know, disco era. You just came out the disco era. And it was weird. Some weird stuff going on in disco era, right? And the message, that was the song. It was the message. When dude said, "Don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head." Like he's telling you, like all this pressure that I'm seeing right now, it's about to break me. And he took America through the eyes of the ghetto, the hood. Everybody had to see what these brothers were going through in the city. And although this was in New York, I'm sure every other city, every Chicago, Atlanta, anyone that was dealing with the crack epidemic or dealing with any drug infestation in their neighborhoods, they saw that because that video was shot in Section 8 projects. You know what I mean? And the song was simply called The Message because there was a message in that song. If this song is not on your top list on any priority when it comes to songs that shook up America, I don't know what to say. This song was powerful, man.
And really quick, I'd like to speak on this one, and I know Mark, you can appreciate the fact that if when you hear, let's just say you take this song when it came out to another country where you don't know about a Chicago, you don't know about a Philly, you don't know about New York, you don't know about, small little neighborhoods like mine, the ghetto, you don't know what's going on. You put on that song, it's telling a story. Like Jay-Z calls like Hard Knock the ghetto anthem. It's not. This song is the original ghetto anthem. If you don't know shit about the ghetto, if you didn't know shit about the ghetto and living in the hood back then, you put this on and you get the message.
Yeah,
I mean it's just that simple. And this could have easily, hell, if I had a top 5 list, this could easily be a number 1, number 2, or depending on who's making the list. Because when I saw this song, I literally thought back to being on my street. We're playing kickball, football. You picking up the ball off the ground, you see the crack valve on the damn ground.
Right.
I remember that. In a scene like this, dude, this is, dude, look at it's and the message as far as don't push me. Like everybody in the hood is, I mean, you that breaking point to where shit, you might just lose it.
Right. And that's what he said. He said it's like a jungle sometimes that makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
Right. I'm telling you,
it's 82.
It's crazy because we didn't even know the terms PTSD or anything like that. I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? And then when I heard what it was, I'm just like, yeah, I probably suffered from that. You know what I'm saying? And I think we all did in a way. And even before y'all got to the military, like, so even when y'all seen shit in the military, well, I seen shit before I came here. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's experiences that y'all had, that some of y'all comrades, in arms just did not have. They came from, wherever something, for real pretty nice, where they ain't have to see what y'all seen, for real on y'all daily. So y'all definitely had a different perspective, for real, how it was. You know what I'm saying? Which they did not.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, like, I think Seth to me in the beginning, he said, man, you could talk 30 minutes on the message itself.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, they're talking about everything that they see. This dude, we're talking about his brother. His brother stole his mother's TV to get crack. You know what I mean? And his mother telling him it's okay.
That shit happens.
It happened. It happened. And he was like, he said, that's why I'm about to lose my mind. It's like a jungle out here. I'm about to lose my mind. Everybody's tripping. So the message, man, I'm gonna listen to that joint again tonight. The message.
Me too, after the show. But moving right along, Marc, we rounding into the top 3. We got NWA Straight Outta Compton. That's a really good choice. Marc, I can't wait to hear what you got to say about this.
Man, I'm gonna say like this, right? Before NWA, I didn't really know much about West Coast rap, right? I'm like, I knew Ice-T was out there because Ice-T was down with Schoolie D from Philly. You know what I'm saying? But Ice-T, it was more of a visual thing for me. I didn't really pay attention, to the songs too much. Ice-T was visual. He had the great looking women, the cars, the guns. So that's all. I don't really know an Ice-T song, but I know an Ice-T video, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? But so NWA was the first time I heard him, I was in Atlanta. Like my aunt used to get every, for a new thing, every new song from everywhere. I don't know how she got it, but she got it. And I heard Straight Outta Compton, I heard Eazy before that. And I'm like, this is dope. I'm like, yo, who the hell is this? This NWA. I'm like, well, NWA? She was like, yeah, niggas with attitudes. I'm like, shit. Because you got to remember, NWA, right, before, and I'm a kid at the time. I'm a little kid, right? But, come on, your favorite aunt, your favorite uncle always going to expose you to shit, that your parents would never let you do. For real, whether it's music, drinking, or whatever else. That's going to happen, right? But she had played that, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, yo, this shit is dope. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, and they West Coast, but they flowing though. I'm just, I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to understand, like, that's when East Coast bias was in full effect. If you was from anywhere else, you was trash. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect, but that's how it was. It was just like, look, if you ain't coming from up top, you trash. But I heard them and I'm like, man, that was so crazy. And then here's the thing. Yo.
Yeah, that song gets powerful though. My President Black is that's
yo,
my
I'm gonna say like this, man. Then you seen the video, right? Now, anybody, who goes back with these videos, the box. You know what I'm saying? If you had the box, and all the box did was play videos all day, right? Straight Outta Compton came on every minute. Every few minutes, that video was being played. These guys in all black walking through Compton. I'm like, I don't know where Compton is. You know what I mean? But they put it on the map, though. They were just, okay, it must be in LA or Cali or somewhere, right? But I'm like, man, Straight Outta Compton was just dope. It was just a dope-ass track. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was flowing on that joint, and you just wanted to see what was next. You know what I mean? Coming from them. But I mean, that got played so much, man. Like, they had to play it over here in Philly. That's how much it got played. And they had to beep everything out because you got to understand, NWA Eazy-E, they was the first ones to cuss up on all the records. Every song, just cuss word after cuss word after cuss word. You know what I'm saying? Before then, even if you said one curse word, it got bleeped out. And most rappers didn't curse all through their albums like that. You know what I'm saying? NWA changed the game because, like, look, we doing it how we want to do it, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, man, it just hit different. Because I ain't heard nothing like that before, but I liked it though. I'm like, this shit right here, you know what I'm saying? Shoot, So I was like, man, but it was like rebel music, because they were rebels, man. And you as a kid, you like a young rebel, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I felt it. So that was my shit. And we all know what happened, after that. And that was an all-star group. I didn't know it then. That was an all-star group. Easy, Dre, Ice Cube, you know what I mean, for a ran good supporting cast. You know what I'm saying? And it went, all them guys went on to do really well. Made a movie about it, Straight Outta Compton. I still watch that movie today, even though some of the events are out of order because we're like damn near rap historians at this point. You know what I'm saying? So we know how everything went. Still, I get a kick out of watching the movie when it come on. When it come on, I'm still watching. Like, what you doing? Watch Straight Outta Compton. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm doing. So I love that record, man, and those brothers, man, they were special, and we just didn't know it at the time, but they were special.
Absolutely
true. To me, Mark, it shook America mainly because it's like the pioneers of fucking gangster rap. You went from guys that was flashy, trying to outbrag each other to the cats that's talking about making some money, talking about killing motherfuckers, talking about killing anybody. I mean, when I first heard them, of course, I wasn't supposed to be listening to it. I was excited because they were doing something that was taboo, that was off limits. They were just saying, "Fuck it, we gonna say whatever it is. We gonna say whatever it is we want to say." And they want to tell you, I'm straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube. Like I'm this is Compton, and this is what Compton is like. And I think that's why it shook the culture because that was the infancy. Also, when they started getting looked at by authorities, like, okay, straight out of Compton, what the fuck are they talking about? That's what I loved about it.
They were the FBI list on the FBI.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't want to go because of them. I didn't want to go to the West Coast. Like when I dreaded getting orders to go to the West Coast at the military. I dreaded. I was like, please, this is 99, 98, 99. I'm like, yo, please don't give me orders to go to the West Coast. I'm afraid. Like, I don't want to go over there and keep me on the East Coast. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what, Shawn? It's the same way, I mean, for with guys who are in jail in the feds or whatever, right? None of the East Coast guys want to get transferred out west. Like, send me down south or somewhere else. Just don't send me to the west because it's a whole set of problems that you ain't ready for.
Problems out there.
You know what I mean? Every guy I know was in the feds. fought to be transferred to the West because it just operates by different rules.
Absolutely.
And the reason why they call it the Wild West because it's a land of outlaws and lawlessness. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm like, man, in the music and within the culture, in some instances, it really did live up to exactly that. So,
absolutely,
Absolutely. That. We'll move right along. Let's go to Shawn's. Getting into his top 3, and that's none other than one of the GOATs. We talked about earlier, LL Cool J, My Radio.
Yes,
give it to us, Shawn.
My Radio was so monumental during this time. This song came out like in '85. It wasn't, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this song was on a Crush Groove soundtrack. If y'all remember Crush Groove that came out,
right?
Crush Groove was like, that was my joint. Crush Groove had everybody, because this was during the time when remember Crush Groove came out. This was like a loose bass story on Russell Simmons. It was loosely based on Russell Simmons on Crush Groove. So you had a young LL who I think he had just got signed, because Run was the actual star in this movie. But I remember, man, when they were playing this joint, and they had your boy, what's his name, Blair Underwood. He was playing.
Yeah, he was Russ.
He was playing Russ, man. Blair Underwood was playing Russ. So that movie, man, I love that movie. I love Crush Groove. Curtis Blow was like the shit. He was like everything ran through Curtis Blow during this time. But back to the reason why I picked this song. Dude, if you in hip hop, if you love hip hop, and if you didn't have a boom box in the 80s, you were nobody. Let's keep it a buck. You were nobody if you didn't have a boom box. I got a picture when I was about 6 or 7, and I had the boom box just like this. I didn't have a Kango on. I had a members only jacket and like a blue and white striped shirt underneath with a boom box. And my arms against the wall at my grandmother's house. God bless the dead. And if you didn't have a boom box, you were not a hip hop head, because the purpose of having a boom box was to play the music that everybody can vibe to and rock to. You had to show that you had the musical ear, and that's why you had to play those cassettes in the boom box. So when LL dropped My Radio and he said, "My radio, believe me, I like it loud. I'm the man with the box that can rock the crowd." He's talking about, I got the music, I got the bump. And if you're gonna listen to what I got in my radio, because it's bumping loud. And the reason why I feel like this song shook America is, if you think about it, it went from having a boom box, it transitioned into having large speakers in the park, playing music in the park, and that transitioned into having speakers in the back of your whip, right? So think about this. The purpose of having a boom box was really just to show people that you had loud music and you had a good ear for music, right? You told everybody, look, I'm the best. I got my boombox on my shoulder. That's the only way you can carry your boomboxes on your shoulder. That's Radio Raheem. That's the only way to do it, right? But that transition to the parks, where you had the large speakers at any park or any club back then, had the large speakers, and that transition into having 12s or 15s in the back of your car. Man, back in the day when I had, the bump in the trunk, I only used that just so I can go through Walmart parking lot bumping loud like a song that just came out. You know what I mean?
Let everybody know. Just to let everybody know.
Hey, look what I got. Hey, if you got to go right there in front, right? And you playing it loud. Yo, Stacks, when Lovers and Friends came out and I had that thing in the back and that bass drop, yeah. I think I circled Walmart like 2 times.
Yeah, you gotta do that
on this song. You ain't heard this song yet, but I got the first dip, because that was the thing. My radio was about who can get the drop on an exclusive song that no one else has, right? That was the purpose of it. That's bragging rights, because if I got a song that you never heard before and I'm busting it out my radio, no matter if it's my boom box, my speakers, or whatever, I got you. You can't touch me. Winning. That's why my radio was my number 2.
I'll tell you one thing. LL and Crush Groove, that his first part was iconic. Box.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He like, yo, man, look, we ain't doing no more dishes today. Bull was like box. And then, you know what I mean, for it start going into my radio.
Yeah.
Man, please, that's an iconic moment. I don't care what nobody say. I like
Absolutely.
that's the best part. Yeah, I mean, yo, listen, L been in a whole bunch of TV and movies. That's still my favorite thing he's ever done.
Absolutely.
That right now.
I will tell you this, man. As far as what this song means to me, you all remember around, you know, hell, maybe your late single digits to your early teens. Your ideal Christmas present with your request. Hey, I need to get me a radio. It wasn't me. It was my big brother who got the radio. And if you wasn't one of those ones that got a radio, you know somebody, you got a friend that had that radio. And on Christmas morning, they come out. And some people, they transition it from, you know, on the shoulder that they might be carrying it by the handle.
Right.
But he was the guy. Fuck a bike, fuck a scooter, whatever you get. If the guy that got the radio, you be like, how the hell did you get the radio? You got to get these big ass D batteries, put them shits in there. And like, this person automatically won Christmas by having a radio, bruh.
Yeah.
It was, and that it took him out. It takes me back to my youth and that, you know, that infancy of the damn, like it's kind of like the early stages of when hip hop started, like, you know, really transitioning into something great, man. And that's what I remember. That's why I think it shook America. But moving on, we're at the top two. Both of y'all got 2 songs left, and Marc picked Jesus Walks, the remix with Kanye featuring Mace.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, shout out to Blackjack TV. Shout out to Blackjack TV Prime. At 9:30, we got to switch off for that, and we're going to keep on rolling till we lock out these last 2 songs that we have. Stacks, at 9:30, can you switch us off of Blackjack TV Prime and Blackjack TV, please?
Got you.
Appreciate you, sir. I'm sorry, Marc.
Yeah. I'm trying to tell you, this is the first song that I heard about Jesus, you know, that people just rocked out to. I mean, you're talking in the club, the bar, in the car, like people actually had this song in rotation in their car. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. I mean, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I've never heard any song about Jesus or the Lord, you know what I mean, for that you really would not, no slight to DMX in any way, shape, or form, because he always brought up the Lord. But I'm just saying, you know, your favorite DMX song, you know what I mean, I don't know, did what this song did. You know what I mean? Your favorite DMX song about God. I don't know if it did what this did. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, this was played everywhere. And, I mean, it's hard to believe, you know, because you might just be to the music and you just listen to what he's saying. It's just like, oh, wow. And he's just like, yo, he's like, and he had a line in there where he was just like, yo, he was like, man, you know, he's like, yo, my song might not get played because I'm talking about Jesus. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now, for me, I mean, what took this record over the top when he did the remix, I'm like, you got past the Mace. This ain't Mace from Bad Boy. This is Mace after he left the music industry. He passed the Mace. He had the church in Atlanta. And I'm like, yo, like, to get him on this verse, that was big, man, because I'm just like, yo, Mace on a remix. I'm like, oh, man, this is about to be the shit. Because I didn't even hear his verse until somebody told me, yo, Mace on a remix, I gotta play this joint for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, you know, to me, I'm just like, yo, I can't even believe that this record is being played. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the bar. I'm literally in the bar. I got a double shot of Henny, I got a beer, and I got a shot of something else. And Jesus Walks is playing. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the bar, a hole in the wall bar with a bang, with you know what I mean, with the DJ, and the DJ, my man, but he's playing this shit. And the whole bar not. I'm just like, yo, go out to the park. You know what I mean? Everybody got the cars out there. Yo, systems coming through, Jesus Walks. Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that, to me, that was like church. Yeah. That was like, if you ain't get your church in, you getting it right there. that's how crazy that was, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that he did that song. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate him for it because I'm like, I ain't heard a rap song in the club, in the car, in the, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It sounded like that, and he was able to get his message across the way that he needed to get his message across. That was big for hip hop. That was big for hip hop, man, because we ain't heard a record like that since. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, it was big to me.
That was a big song. That was a big song. I remember that song came out on that album, man. It was huge, man. It was different. It was a gamble song at that time because it was never done in that capacity. That was a huge gamble, and it was a hit, and he performed it. So, yeah, I agree with you on that, man. Very big song. Very big song.
Yeah, this was a they did a really good job. I'm not gonna spoil it, but they did a really good job on that series that Shawn was talking about, hip hop songs that shook the nation. They did a really good piece on how this song all came together from the choir to some of the people that helped him wrote it. It's amazing how a song comes. They showed how it come together, and that's one of those iconic signature Kanye songs. Okay, well, moving right along, we got Shawn's number 2.
Yes.
We got Run DMC My Adidas. Shawn is in his 80s bag right now. Talk to him.
Yeah, because that started everything. I feel him on that because it started everything.
Yes. My Adidas, man. Yo, this was the first song that started talking about, it was like a Renaissance song. When you think about My Adidas, you're talking about fashion. You're talking about, yo, I got the shell-toe Adidas, and I'm stomping on your head with the joints. Like this, you think about all, like Stack said earlier, about the bragging in rap songs back in the 80s. It was about, how can I outfly you? Because you have rappers like, Dan Dane, you had Slick Rick, you had Kane, who had all the chains and the Figaros, and you had everything. You had, I mean, man, you had Rakim. These guys, they knew fashion. But when Run came out, and they had these concerts, and they were like, yo, my Adidas, and that beat drop, everybody going crazy. Everybody in the audience got the Adidas. I remember watching those concerts. I was young, man. I'm like, yo, I want some shell-toe Adidas. And you had to take the shoestring out. You don't wear Adidas with a shoestring back in the 80s. You had to figure out how to freak them, because although everyone probably got a pair of Adidas at some point, you had to show that you can be flyer with their Adidas.
Oh man, shoot, the New Yorkers.
Yeah,
y'all be put the New Yorkers in them Johns. Y'all saying?
The birth of being
Shout to New York.
Right, it was the birth of a sneakerhead,
bro. That's where sneakerhead came from, bro.
Absolutely, because that song came out in '86. So you gotta think about it. '86. This is when really all the shoes kind of looked alike. If you really think about it, a lot of the shoes. And they all kind of looked alike. If you go back and look at it now, you look at Nike, you look at Converse, you look at all of these shoes, they were all very similar. But when he said, my Adidas, I'm walking on it blew my mind, because that was the first time, again, you talking about the bragging era, where it wasn't about, I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna drive by on you. It was like, I'm fly. I'm gonna show you why I'm fly. I'm gonna show you why I'm flyer than you. I'm gonna talk really, really fly on this song. And that's what it was about. And a simple claim as my Adidas. You know what I mean? And for them to take my Adidas to that level, which, if you do the history of my Adidas, it's really Adidas. But for them to be able to really put it in context and had America, all the black kids in America wanted to buy Adidas, and even the young white kids, because when they did the whole jump with Aerosmith and they bust through the wall and walked this way, guess what they had on? Adidas. And the camera zoomed in on Adidas while they were doing their little dance. So again, my Adidas to me was monumental. I thought it was pivotal during that time because it ushered in the fashion renaissance. It ushered in the sneakerhead renaissance, because we weren't expounding on anything related with, they would talk about, fashion designer clothes, the Dapper Dans and the Stan Smiths, but no one really talked about an actual global brand like Adidas. They were talking about more of those, like, I got the Gucci on, or I got the King OK. We wanted that stuff. You know what I mean? You like, yo, I want the chain with the Benz symbol on the chain. I want to dress like that. You know what I mean? I want to have the MGKs on. I want to have the Gucci's on. I want to rock what they're rocking. And for them to have a song called My Adidas, and for the Adidas skyline to actually go through the roof during that time, monumental, man. So that's why that's my number 2.
And there's no Air Force One by Nelly without this song right here.
Negative. Absolutely.
All right. Moving right along. We're down to both Shawn and Marc's number 1. We'll start with Marc. His number 1 song is a pretty damn good one. Public Enemy's Fight the Power.
Yeah.
Man, give it to us, Marc.
Man, listen, this, I'm like, man, this joint, I mean, in PE, they really would talk shit to anybody. They ain't care. You know what I mean? And you could choose. It's a lot of PE songs you could have chose, to be honest with you, right? But this one, though, right? I mean, this is when PE was at the top of their game. This is Chuck D, Flav. You know what I mean? For what's my man, Professor Griff, S1Ws. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yo, like, I'm like, man, the Do the Right Thing movie, obviously. I'm just like, yo, this was like Black Power, like right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is, Young Bull had the African beads on. This is that. You know what I'm saying? And, like, yo, man, like all of that. I remember my man had the red, black, and green clock. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is all of that shit. Like, I'm like, this was just a historic type of song. Like, you could play, I mean, this song, applies to today. So I'm just like, yo, like, that's how crazy it was. You know what I'm saying? And they spoke on a lot of different issues. I'm like, man, you had Al Sharpton out there back then. You know what I'm saying? The whole Tawana Brawley case, all of that. Like, a lot of shit was happening, and black folks, was just getting tired of shit. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't just the riots in LA. It was just it was like riots in different neighborhoods from bullshit that happened. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like around that time, and we all young boys then, but I'm just like, I remember, my man's telling me like, yeah, man, they rioted in my neighborhood because of this and that. You know what I mean? For they burned down a few stores and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, to me, like when everything was going on, you fast forward years later, you see everything going on now, different neighborhoods, different cities. You know what I'm saying? With the riots and the looting and all of that. I'm like, this ain't new. You know what I mean? This has happened, you know what I mean, for in your neighborhood once, you know what I mean, for once before. You know what I'm saying? It's just happening on a bigger scale now. But we were talking about the same things. You know what I'm saying? And that's why this type of music is important, man. But it was inspiring, man, because when you heard this, I mean, you were just in your bag. You know what I'm saying? I remember my brother, he had told me, he went to see Do the Right Thing. You know what I'm saying? He went to see Do the Right Thing or whatever. And, you know what I mean? For it was like white folks just saying, yo, don't blame me, brother. Like, you know what I mean? And, my brother in his bag, like, yo, this ain't the time to talk to me, white boy. This ain't the time for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I understand where he was coming from. And this is, my brother was he was a young boy then too, but he understood what was happening. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, this song meant a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, this message still stands today. You know what I'm saying? That you got to fight the power, fight against oppression, fight against, all of that, man. You know what I'm saying? And stand tall, man, because we was all kings. Our peoples was kings, man. So carry yourself, in a manner like that, like kings and queens. Don't hold your head down. Put your head up, man, and walk tall, man. So that's what this meant to me,
And to your point, real quick before we get to Shawn's number 1, simply put, this song to me is about fighting systemic racism and the white supremacist power structure that's ruled the day since we got free from chains. Lived on after Reconstruction and still lives on in many instances today. And some of the lyrics in that song is just it's inspiring, man. Yeah, like when it said Elvis is a hero to those, but he never meant shit to me because he's straight out rape. When these guys are saying this shit, I'm like, yo, these dudes is really spitting as far as how we fucking feel. I'm like, talk that shit.
The way he said it, Elvis was a hero.
But he never meant shit to me because he's straight up a racist.
I'm trying to tell you, yo, it's like Chuck D. Chuck D, you know, to me, is like, man, I view him as like that's my pastor right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's my church when I'm listening to PE, man. That's my church right there. That's how I felt, man. You know what I'm saying? With Chuck D, man, talk to you, man. And, you know, like if you ever listen to any Chuck D interviews, he just be dropping knowledge, man. You know what I'm saying? So I always got to tune in on Chuck D anytime he on, man. See what knowledge he gonna drop on me today, man. You know what I mean? See what's going on, you know?
True that. Absolutely. And the last song, pretty good one. We had kind of like a prelude to it earlier as far as Mark number 3. The last song is NWA's a classic, Fuck the Police. I ain't saying that. I'm saying the whole word.
Man.
This, talk to him, Shawn.
This one was a heater, man, because you got to think about it. This came out in 88. This was during the time when LA was going through the LA riots. You know, you had the Rodney King situation bubbling. You had so many different situations happening. It's almost like we are experiencing repeats of what happened back then today, right? The difference is we're seeing it now more live. We're seeing it, you know, social media. We're seeing it on cameras, and you're seeing police brutality today. But back then, it was in their face. Like they didn't have a lot. They didn't have phones that can record the nonsense that was going on. And again, during this time, you know, the LA Police Department was the biggest game. You know what I mean in LA, because they not only were they allowing the and again, this is in the heart of the crack epidemic, right? And not only were they also part of all that Contra movement and, you know, planting drugs on minorities. And they were really targeting the hood. They had task force. They had tanks. They had, like, if you go back and watch some of the footage, the police department had army tanks, bro.
They just run it up in the crib. Yeah.
Run up in the crib. Yeah. Murking people, man. And these teenagers, NWA were teenagers. At least Cube was a teenager during this time. Wrote this song. And it was so straight to the point. It was not hiding punches. And he just came out straight up, letting you know, F the police, you killed me because I'm brown. You know what I mean? It just, they went straight to the jugular. And this was the first time that an artist, rapper, musician, whatever, went that over the top and they used the freedom of expression. You know what I mean? Because technically they were not wrong. These are teenagers, and they pretty much did this song off the guise of, look, I'm exercising the freedom of expression. You can't lock me up because I say this because I didn't do anything illegal. I didn't go out here and say I'm going to kill anyone. I'm saying is you're killing us. So what do you expect for us to do now? You know what I mean? And they said it so eloquently, where their rap lyrics did not get them hemmed up. Although they were under investigation, the White House got whiff of it, it got serious. But no one from that group served time in jail, a lot of time in jail for those rap lyrics. To the point where, as much as they wanted to ban that song, these guys made a daggone video about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about it, Phil. These are teenagers. They made a video about it. Ice Cube with the King's hat on and Jerry Curl.
That's iconic too.
Iconic. And again, this is 1988. This is in the heat of everything that's going on. The riots, the looting, the pillaging. We were at war at that time on the West Coast. And it was so influential during that time that it almost had to be said because it was so radical. And no one, those guys, no one got assassinated. And they were on the brink of that because of how dangerous it was. They didn't care. They still rock with it.
It took a lot of courage from teenagers and young men in their early 20s to come out with a song like that for the time. Now, based on the movie, I'm pretty sure this is pretty accurate. There were times where they were at the show. I know there was one part of the movie where they were told you can't perform that song.
Yeah, that's a true story.
Hey, yo, and they said fuck it and performed it anyway, and it turned into a brawl. The police got involved. Police the police is kind of antagonizing them at this concert. It's like they're strictly there to see if they're going to do the song, and they did that shit and didn't give a fuck after. And that's what I loved about it. Like freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Look, we got the same rights, so we gonna say what we feel. And I mean, when you're that young and you make that conscious decision to go against the grain, it's something you gotta respect, bro. It's just something you gotta respect, man.
No doubt.
And again, think about it. That's 1988. Fast forward to 2021, 2020, 2019, when police brutality was probably at one of its worst. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Back then, it was brutal because they literally had tanks. They had these guys had face shields and everything, come in there with mace, you know what I mean, hand grenades. They're throwing smoke grenades and pipe bombs in the houses, and they just create destruction in the communities. And these guys were tired of it. You know what I mean? These guys were tired of it, and they were like, yo, you see what Nick put up on there? You see how she quote those very
Ice Cube ain't never hold no punches, bro, especially back then, bro.
He was I think 18 or 19 or 7. He was young. He was a teenager.
Yeah, he was young when he first got with
this.
And a fucking beast on the fucking lyrics. He wrote for most of them fucking cats.
A beast on the lyrics. So to me, that's my number one, because I think that song shook America in so many different ways. It created a sound wave. I think it also opened the door for other artists to be more instrumental and more vocal on how they displeasure what was going on in America. Because before then, you had the John Lennons who was singing, "Let's be peaceful. Let's figure it out. If America can just relax and let's get better. Nah, he's saying for peace. NWA saying for yo, y'all fucked up. And we want to expose you." They weren't doing it to try to hurt anyone. They were doing it to expose the corruption in the LA PD. They weren't talking about the East Coast. They weren't talking about the North. They weren't talking about the South. They were talking about what they experienced, firsthand experience. And Ice Cube said in an old interview, and he said that they are reporting the news through their eyes from their community. Yep. And that's why this song was something that they felt they had to do. And for them to be fearless to do it during that time, knowing damn well it was going to put a target on their backs, not just from the police department, because again, the LAPD has been on record as being the biggest gang in LA, right? Right. They were getting looked by those guys, the FBI, court. Everybody, the White House, everyone was looking at them. And then a couple of years later, Eazy-E is in the White House. You know what I mean? Jerry Curl's dripping on Ronald Reagan's shoes. So,
went from selling rocks in the dope house to having dinner at the White House.
Right.
Real shit.
Right. Jerry Curl.
I gotta watch your other coffee tonight.
So, man, I enjoyed this topic for tonight. Thank you, Stats, for hopping on, man, and giving us the moderation. We try to come up with a main topic where we can kind of flow back and forth. This is one of those for the hip hop heads. We glad you guys had a chance to rock with us. We see y'all notes out there. We see the comments out there. We see some of you put the list out there, so we appreciate that. It's almost that time, man. We're getting close to getting ready for our battle. I know Stacks is part of that battle. Hold up, I just want to respond to something. Nick, self-destruction was on my brain housing group. Stacks will tell you that. I was going back and forth. There is so many songs we could have gone into. You can go into so many different bags, Elevators, Dear Mama, Cream. There's so many places to go to. It was just songs that we felt that resonated with us during that time.
Yeah, I wanted definitely some stuff left on the table. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's about 20 joints on the table. And I'm like, I really wanted to go that route. But I wanted to talk more from a cultural perspective that impacted young Shawn during that time as well. So definitely Self-Destruction is a definite classic. But I do want to give a nod because we are working on finalizing the details of the upcoming battle, the Usher versus Chris Brown
Young
battle.
Breezy.
Stacks now already got 40 joints clip ready to lock and load. I know Nicole has about 30 of them on standby. Marc said they had about 5 songs from Chris Brown. So
500. Oh yeah, 500. Yeah,
we ready. We ready to rock, man. So Marc, I'm gonna kick it to you, man. What are your final thoughts, man?
Shoot, man. I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? I just like, man, I was like, man, I like the topic tonight. You know what I'm saying? Just think, songs that were impactful. It's not like, they were my favorite songs, but I think, just seeing how, they drove the culture, I think, you know what I'm saying? That was important, so I'm just like, man, I like that. Also, in a good space, ready to see these playoffs kick off. I'm just like, man, I like Philly as a number 1 seed. You know what I mean? For real, we've been fighting for that. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be fun. You know what I'm saying? Here in the city. You know what I mean? For real, to see how far the boys get, man. I'm like, man, because our other teams, we ain't really at championship level. But this team could be. You know what I'm saying? So, we we're gonna root for them and we're gonna stand with them. We're gonna see what happens.
Absolutely. Stacks, anything you want to say, man? Any parting words for you, my man?
Just real quick, just like to thank you, gentlemen, for letting me hop on here with you tonight. It's always a pleasure. I think that's about it. I got some more stuff, but I'll put it out on Wednesday when we do the main show. But yeah, just it's always a pleasure coming on. Fuck with y'all on Mondays.
Absolutely, my man. Absolutely. Yo, that's our show for tonight. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for commenting. Thank you all for viewing. Shout out to Blackjack TV. Shout out to Blackjack TV Prime, YouTube, Facebook, all of our partners on the front line and behind the scenes. Thank you all to everybody. Shout out to Tayson. Shout out to our street team, General Tayson. Shout out to Merv. Shout out to Becca. Shout out to Tina. Shout out to to Stacks and Marc. The Lullas. Nicole was in the audience tonight. Nicole's husband was in the audience tonight. Shout out to you all. Thank you all for tuning in. God bless and good night. Peace.
No doubt. Peace.